part of our team, but it does give you a little bit of an idea. And thank goodness we have Tina stepping in with us today. She didn't go with us, but we did get an extra reader, so she was kind enough to step in, so thank you, Tina. We're calling this Mission Possibilities. Last year, as we looked at the possibilities for mission trips, our thoughts quickly went to the Capital District mission team for many reasons. One, to strengthen the connective nature of the Methodist Church by joining with our Capital District. Two, it's nicknamed the bargain basement of mission trips. And three, the invitation by Pastor Jerry Hopkins' daughter. And this is what she wrote. I invite you to participate in an exciting and unique opportunity to experience the richness and diversity of God's kingdom, of God's living kingdom, as you grow in your faith and service to Christ. Volunteers are asked to give of their time, resources, and talents to rebuild, restore, and renew the community of Cleveland, Tennessee. Cleveland was devastated last year when a tornado swept through their town. The mission group was dispatched last year and again this summer. Since then, volunteer teams are coordinated by the Cleveland Cluster of Churches, UMCOR, UMCOR, and Red Cross. And she answered, we'll see you this summer. Also think about maybe see you next summer. We're going to share with you today our reflections on this year's mission trip to Cleveland by highlighting the location in our group, the projects, and some personal testimony. Now, Skylar's going to tell you about where we went and a little bit about the group.
So, as Mrs. Crafter said, we went to Cleveland, Tennessee, and it took us 12 amazing hours to actually drive down there. We met at 5:30 in the morning at, what church was it? The New Egypt Methodist Church, and we arrived in Tennessee around 5 in the evening. We were housed at First United Methodist Church of Cleveland, and it was a large facility with plenty of classrooms to sleep in, whether it was on an air mattress or on a cot. Me, Morgan, and Emily actually got to sleep in a preschooler's room, and it was filled with like stuffed animals. It was great. And we had a large gym that all the kids ran around in, and we had a kitchen, and we were lucky enough to have running water that was hot, and plenty of showers, so no one really had to wait a while. We went to, the group was made of about 13 different church groups, ranging in ages from 14 to over 74. Everyone had a job to do as we traveled in teams to over 6 different sites, where the tornadoes had damaged everything from barns and fields to homes and yards. Each morning we would leave around 8:30 with our lunches we had packed the night before, and would come back dirty and sweaty around 5. Jobs included roofing, building a handicap ramp, clearing yards and fields, and many repair jobs.
Now, as I said, Tanae has been kind enough to step in because Zach wrote a piece and was not able to be here, but we really want you to think about these are the words coming from Zach Umstead.
Okay, Group 8 consisted of myself, Evan, Morgan, Skylar, Emily, Robin, Al, Chris, and Darren, a grandfather, father, and son respectively. Our task was not one directly related to the tornadoes, but one that was still desperately needed. An elderly couple's house had 2 entrances, both of which had sets of stairs, and the gentleman now needed a wheelchair, so naturally we built a ramp. The ramp was an awesome experience, and we all learned a little about construction and the power of compressed air. But what struck me the most during the 5 days we were there was just how thankful the lady of the house was. She knew that her husband would probably have had to stay in a nursing home since he needed to go to dialysis treatment regularly. What she understood, and I think we all came to understand over the course of the week, was that we were giving her time to spend with her husband, not just a ramp. And that's really what the project meant to me. It wasn't just helping to create a ramp, I was helping to create time, something all of us seem to have so little of.
One of the other jobs was working on the roof of a barn. Now this was Junior's house. His name was Junior, and he was the second one, so he was Junior. And he actually had a son, Junior, so you take it from there, okay? But it was a farm, and it had lots of damage. It had actually been damaged from the tornadoes, and the team had actually gone there the year before and was able to work on one of their roofs, or one of their buildings. This past year, they were able to replace the roof, and we're talking about almost like, I think, 10 or something on top of this roof. And then they were able to actually reconstruct most of another barn. So you can imagine what this would do for the, the landowner. Another group that was a part of our challenges was the F Troop, and we're going to Rick talk about the F Troop.
Well, I was assigned as a leader for this sixth group in the crowd, and as it was, we ended up getting all the odd jobs at the end because everybody else got their assignment and then tried to find something for us to do. As it turned out, we spent the first day basically walking through some farm fields looking for debris. We were just trying to prevent the farmer from getting some of the flat tires just from the odds and ends. It was amazing, some of the personal effects that you found as you went walking. Second day, we got to go out a bathroom and paint some porches. Finally, on Wednesday, we got probably our most interesting job. And it was working along with some Baptist laymen who were rebuilding a home for a young couple who had lost their whole home, as well as they themselves and their two children were thrown about 50 feet into their yard. It was only after the baby had started to cry that the father realized that he was lying on the baby. Months later, a family picture and a grade school report card were found. They were all that is left of their previous lives. The picture was found over 80 miles away near Knoxville, where after being posted on the internet, their cousin recognized their pictures and got a hold of the person to return it to them. They felt the blessing of having us there, and we were blessed to hear their stories while seeing to give such a little piece of our lives to help them recover theirs. Yet as it was the last day that was probably the most rewarding. It was then that we were asked to help a woman whose life had become just overwhelmed. Her son had recently passed away, her husband was undergoing cancer treatments and other medical issues. She felt blessed to have had a job at a bakery, even though it was working the third shift. But with it, her yard had become long neglected. Some of you may be old enough to recall the old Halachik post-war junkyard out on Route 206. Well, this yard had just about as much debris in it, including a few vehicles, all buried in very high weeds and overgrown bushes. With almost 100 man-hours and 7 truckloads to the dump, we were able to leave them with new flowers in their yard and smiles that we hope would not leave them for a long time.
Now, I had the pleasure of being in the kitchen. So I stayed back in the air conditioning each day, except for the few times I had to go to Walmart and buy all the groceries. But what was really amazing for me was each day when the groups came back, and one group would be responsible for the devotions that night. And we got to be treated to each of these stories each night, where each of the groups would share what happened on that day and the stories of thankfulness from the people. And we got to be a part of the project, hearing their testimonies each night. And you're catching a glimpse of that today. These are only a few of the stories that were just so powerful. Even going to Walmart, for me, I'm standing there, checking out at the counter with like 2 full baskets of stuff for 80 people. And the girl at the register said, "Well, what are you doing here?" And when I told her, she starts thanking me. Everybody in the community was so gracious and so thankful for our work there. And with that, would either of you ladies like to share anything else about the personal aspect of this?
I just had a really great time going. I not only helping the family with the ramp and bringing them closer together, but I got closer with Skylar and Emily because we did stay in the same room. We were on the same work team, and I just feel like they're kind of like sisters now to me. So that was fun bonding more with them.
Alright, that's basically what I had to say. I'm I feel so blessed to be able to, that I had the chance to actually go on this mission trip, because, I never thought that I'd be a part of, something just, so, together. And when you go there, you feel like a family, even if, all the groups aren't doing the same exact thing. When we got back at the church, every night, and the sanctuary, it was just, we were all together, We were there for the same reason, and we all believed in the same thing, and it was just something wonderful that I was completely taken back by it. And just like Morgan said, me and her got closer, and obviously Emily's my sister, so the fact that we didn't even fight or argue or bicker at all during the trip was just amazing. But yeah, Morgan's like a sister to me now, and the Crafts are my family now, and everyone else who got to go on the mission trip, and we made a lot of friends, and we had a lot of exciting adventures, and yeah, we definitely want to go next year, so that's all I have to say.
And I guess that's a big part of it also. They would not have been able to go if it wasn't for your kindness and your help with the fundraisers and support and the prayers that you've done. So we want you to realize this is a church effort. We were the lucky ones that got to go, but it was the church that provided us that opportunity. So where do we go from here as Beverly United Methodist Church? What will our next mission possibilities be?
Well, you have heard us the past few years talk about the blessings of going to places like Iowa and Russia, and this year Tennessee. We're hoping that more of you would consider actually joining us. But in the meantime, just to keep things going during the winter, we have come up with another project, which isn't new to us. We've done it one other time many years ago, but we never really got full swing of it. We are actually considering having you guys join us for the next couple of months, working on, and I'll get it right here, Project Christmas, Operation Christmas Child. I get it all twisted up. I get tied up in the boxes. But we're going to let Morgan explain a little bit about the project, and we're also going to give you a little bit of a story. We got to travel down to Vineland 2 weekends ago to hear a speaker who was involved on the other end of this as a child.
Operation Christmas Child is a program that has been around since 1993 and has grown more and more each year. The basic idea is to prepare shoebox-sized presents for a child who might not otherwise have a gift on Christmas. As a church, we're hoping to make 20 shoeboxes, 10 for boys and 10 for girls. Each box is prayed over and then distributed to a child from any of dozens of countries around the world, including the United States. With each box, children are invited to hear the message of our Lord's gift of grace for us. We have a short video